Welcome to rSlash Offmychest, where OP witnesses her mother murder her sister. Our next Reddit post is from Nearby Can. This happened over 5 years ago. My sister was 23 and I was 16. I was still living at home and my sister was visiting. Our mother has always been difficult. I don't want to diagnose someone, but she's always had mental problems. My sister had bipolar disorder, but actually took responsibility and managed her disorder. The two of them often clashed. I can't remember why it started, but they began arguing. My sister started preparing to leave, but had stopped just before going down the stairs. My mom shoved my sister. Not hard, but just enough to cause her to lose her balance. She fell down the stairs onto the tiled floor. I still remember how it sounded. Almost immediately, my sister started gurgling and seizing, throwing up, and she bled onto the tiles. Mom was screaming, I was screaming, and Mom eventually called an ambulance. They took my sister away and we got into my mom's car driving to the hospital. We didn't talk. We were both crying. When we finally got to the hospital, we found out that she was already being prepped for surgery. They told us to wait and that they'd inform us as soon as there was an update. A few hours later, a doctor came up to us. There was nothing they could do. My whole world crumbled. She was my big sister, my protector and best friend. She took care of me and loved me. I once read that losing your parent is losing your past, losing a friend is losing your present, and losing a child is losing your future. But losing a sibling is losing all at once. It was only my mom and I in the house that evening. We never talked about what happened. But whenever I look at her, whenever I talk to her, I can just think, you killed her. You took her from me. This is the 5th Christmas without my sister. I keep thinking about who she would have been today. Would she have gotten married to her girlfriend? Would she have gotten her degree and followed her dreams? Would she be proud of me? I've been in therapy since it happened, and it's helped a lot. She was also an organ donor, and the thought that parts of her are out there making sure a handful of people get to live is such a comforting thought. I should have told someone the truth about what happened, but there was so much going on. My mind was in such a disarray that it didn't even occur to me. But it wouldn't have changed anything. My sister still did. I miss you, Nia. I miss you so effing much. Oh, OP, talking about this would definitely change one thing. It would put your mom in jail because she's literally a murderer. Well, I think technically she's a manslaughterer, which is still pretty bad. So, oh God, I hate to give this advice, but I think that's what you should do. You should go to the cops and get your mom arrested because she killed someone. Our next Reddit post is from No Love Anywhere. I've been dating this woman for a year. She has a 15-year-old daughter. She asked me to pick her daughter up from a friend's house on my way home from work. I go to the address she sent. I call her daughter, and her daughter tells me that she's not at that address, and she asks me if I can come to a different address because that's where she actually is. I said okay. She sends me the address and I go. It's like a few blocks over from the original address. I get to the new address and call her again. She comes out, and a grown man walks her to the car. They kiss and she gets in. I ask her, who's that and how old is he? She says that's her boyfriend and he's 26. I didn't say anything. She said, please don't tell my mom. It's our business and we can keep it between us. I didn't say anything. So we get home, and as soon as she went up to her room, I told her mom what happened. Her mom immediately calls her daughter to the living room. She confronts her. The daughter spazzes out, then says that I'm lying. She says that she was at a boy's house, but he's only 15, like her. Then she says that I'm lying because I'm jealous and that I flirt with her when her mom's not around, and she just flat out lied. I'm blown away. Her mom is shocked, just like me. She tells her daughter that she better tell the truth because if this is true, she's going to call the cops right now, and I will immediately be going to jail and have to register as a sex offender. My girlfriend said very sternly that this is life or death, and she better not be telling a lie that will ruin this man's life just so she can sneak around with some grown man. The daughter starts crying and says that she lied and made it all up. It was a terrible situation. In that moment, when she accused me of doing all those terrible things, I wanted to break down and cry. I was grateful that my girlfriend didn't immediately jump to conclusions. It happened so fast that I thought her mom would immediately be like, yeah, you're going to jail. But she was calm and very clear. She didn't get all crazy. She was just like, okay, let's be honest. I absolutely commend my girlfriend for being calm and not immediately accusing me of doing all that stuff. Yeah, OP, it is definitely a good thing that your girlfriend had your back there and didn't jump to conclusions, but let's be real. You gotta get out of this situation immediately, because if that happened to you once, it can definitely happen to you again. Our next Reddit post is from No Cauliflower. I want to divorce my wife over her hair. Our little girl's wedding was back in October, and it was an effing disaster because of my wife. My wife and daughter had gotten into a fight before the wedding. They seemingly made up a few days before, so we flew down and were going to stay till after the wedding. When we got there, my wife started complaining about her hair. My daughter was suggesting a few of the salons around New Orleans that would have fit her in before the wedding. My wife asked our daughter if she would just do her hair. My daughter has her beauty license. And my daughter agreed, and that's when the disaster started. My wife's hair was too warm, then too cool, then too warm again. My daughter had done her hair 3 times in a row. This took 6 hours each time because my wife has a lot of hair and she wanted it to be foiled back to back, and I don't know if I've got that phrase right. My daughter said that she couldn't do it again for the 4th time because she didn't want to overprocess my wife's hair and that her body was just killing her. My daughter said that she was becoming burnt out from her nursing job, her hair job, and now all the wedding planning and running around. My wife's 3rd appointment with my daughter for her hair was the day of her wedding, by the way. And before it started, my wife said, "Don't take another 10 hours to do it." My wife became very short and snippy with her and complained about her hair the entire time. She kept sending my daughter pictures of hair colors that she liked and telling her that she colored her hair too gray and cool. My daughter was in tears during her wedding because she said her feet were blistered, so it was hard for her to walk in the heels that she had purchased for her wedding day. Her husband gently asked us if we could go home the day after the wedding, and I of course agreed. I was continuously telling my wife that her hair looked amazing and to leave our daughter alone, but she just kept saying, "This is her job." I snapped at her after her 2nd appointment and said enough is enough. I also learned that my daughter had spent over $400 just on product for my wife's hair. My little girl and her husband make enough to sustain themselves fine and live comfortably, but I know that after their wedding, they wanted to tighten their belt and start saving up for a house because they plan on trying for kids soon. After the wedding, my wife had completely blown up once we got home, saying her hair was a mess and she was going to have to pay a lot of money to get it fixed. She texted our daughter and laid into her, saying what she wanted wasn't that hard and that she completely destroyed her hair. Our daughter just replied that she's sorry and she hasn't talked to us since. My daughter sent me a happy Thanksgiving text and told me that she loved me, but she hasn't talked to her mom since that text and she only keeps in regular contact with her siblings. I am so beyond pissed off. My daughter worked hard, coming off a 16-hour nursing shift and then immediately doing her mom's hair for 6 hours and then 2 more 6-hour appointments back to back, and my wife is still ungrateful? This isn't the woman that I married. This isn't the mother that I know. If I have to hear about her precious hair one more time, I'm going to leave, because no hair is worth her relationship with her daughter. Yeah, down in the comments, Miss Scramble has the exact same thought that I had. This sounds like it wasn't actually about the hair. This sounds like she was purposefully sabotaging the week and finding a reason to go after her afterwards. Something else is going on here. Our next Reddit post is from EB Stevie. Last night, I woke up and realized that someone had butchered my hair. One side is a jagged pixie cut, and the other side hangs awkwardly past my shoulder. At first, I thought that I was losing my mind. Maybe I sleepwalked or something, but no. I confronted my husband, Tim, because he's been acting weird lately, but he denied it. Then he drops this bombshell. My mom, she might have done it. Apparently, my mother-in-law, Diane, is convinced that I've been cheating on Tim. Why? Because last week she saw me having lunch with a coworker. For the record, the coworker, Kyle, is gay, and we were literally talking about work. But Diane decided that I must be having an affair, and instead of, talking to me or Tim, she broke into our house in the middle of the night with scissors and went full Edward Scissorhands on my hair. This morning, I confronted her. At first, she played innocent, but when I pressed her, she literally said, "Well, maybe now you'll think twice before humiliating my son." I was fuming. I told her that my coworker isn't even into women, but she just rolled her eyes and said something like, "That's what they all say." I didn't even know how to respond to that level of delusion. Tim is horrified and apologetic, but I'm struggling here. This woman violated my personal space, destroyed my hair, and acted like she was in the right. I want to go no contact with her, but Tim is stuck between me and his mom, and I feel like this is going to be a huge blow up in our marriage. Then OP posted an update. After the conversation that we had with Diane this morning, I noticed that my husband, Tim, was acting weird. At first, I thought that it was just guilt about standing up to his mom, but it felt like more than that. He's been avoiding eye contact and getting defensive when I bring up what happened. Earlier, I couldn't take it anymore, so I sat him down and told him that he needed to be 100% honest with me about everything. That's when he dropped the bombshell. Apparently, Diane didn't come up with the haircut idea on her own. Tim admitted that he knew about it ahead of time and even helped her. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. He said that he truly thought that I was cheating on him with Kyle, my gay coworker, because Diane convinced him there was too much evidence to ignore. When she suggested cutting my hair as some kind of weird punishment, he didn't stop her. In fact, he let her into our house that night while I was sleeping. Tim said that he didn't want to confront me directly because he wasn't ready for the truth. So instead, he let his mother do this insane thing to me, thinking it would force me to come clean. Afterwards, when I didn't admit to cheating, he started to realize he might have been wrong. But by then, he didn't know how to tell me what he'd done. He kept saying, "I'm so sorry, I was just confused." But I honestly don't know how to process this. This wasn't just Diane acting like a lunatic. This was both of them. And my own husband betrayed me in one of the most humiliating ways possible. I packed my bag and I'm staying with a friend tonight while I figure out what to do. I don't know if I can ever trust him again after this. It's not just the haircut, it's the fact that he didn't even talk to me, that he believed the worst about me without any proof, and actively participated in something so cruel and violating. As for Diane, she's officially dead to me. I've already told Tim that I don't want her in my life ever again, regardless of what happens between us. Right now, I'm torn. Part of me wants to file a police report on both of them for what they did, but I'm scared of how messy it'll get. Another part of me just wants to cut ties and move on, but that feels like letting them off too easy. I don't know what my next step is, but I do know this. I deserve better than this. Then OP posted an update. First, I contacted a divorce lawyer. I explained the entire situation, including what my husband admitted to and how his mother violated my trust and personal safety. The lawyer was very supportive and walked me through the process of filing for divorce. While it feels daunting, I know this is the best decision for me. I can't see a future where I could ever trust my husband again after what he allowed to happen. Second, I decided to press charges against my mother-in-law. I filed a police report for assault and I've documented everything. Photos of my hair, text messages, and the timeline of events. While I'm still nervous about how messy this could get, I refuse to let her get away with what she did. What she did wasn't just humiliating, it was an act of violence, and she needs to be held accountable for it. As for my husband, I've made it clear that I'm done. I've moved out and I will not be returning. I've blocked his mother entirely, and I'm limiting any communication with him to legal matters only. Yo, why would you not just have a conversation like a normal human being? Hey, wife, my mom was out on the town and she saw you with a guy. Oh yeah, that's my coworker. He's gay. You got nothing to worry about. Oh, okay, I see. Like that's all it took. Instead, this guy goes to secret ninja haircutting assault. Yo, is this guy stupid? Our next Reddit post is from Hell Hath My Fury. My husband cheated on me with her for 3 years. And now, 6 months after I ended things, my husband's mistress shows up on my doorstep crying about how she caught him making plans to meet up with a woman that he met on Tinder. Like, excuse me? She really thought that I would take pity on her for being pregnant and getting cheated on when he was at her place screwing her while I had to deliver our stillborn daughter. I cannot make this up. She's that effing delusional. And she had the audacity to get upset when I just laughed at her. I have no idea why she thought that I would be sympathetic. I guess she thought that since we were both cheated on by the same person, I would see where she was coming from. But I have never given her any indication that I'd be a good person to confide in because I despise her and she knows it. I told her as much, and she started crying about how she was sorry and she regretted everything, that she never wanted to hurt me, which is a total lie. She knew all about me, but she loved him. I just told her to F off and cry about it to somebody else because I couldn't even pretend to feel sorry for her after everything she and him did to me and my kids. I said that we weren't friends just because she was stupid enough to think that she was different. I know that it was cruel and that all this makes me a bad person, but I'm unapologetic. She and my ex screwed with my life and my health, and now her karma is that her delusions were shattered, and that she'll have to deal with both of us for at least the next 18 years. I guess if you're self-centered enough to be a mistress in the first place, then you're also self-centered enough to think, oh, everyone cares about me and my problems. Our next Reddit post is from Proof Department. I'm a 26-year-old woman, and I pooped in my car. This is honestly so embarrassing. I don't want to tell anyone I know, but I have to get this off my chest. I was driving home the other day and felt the oncoming need to use the restroom. I was stuck in traffic about 20 minutes from home. I realized there was really no time left, no exit nearby, and things were going to happen. I decided the best thing I could do was try to poop in one of those dog poop bags that I had in the car. I had to slip my pants off, use them to cover myself since there were literally cars all around, and put the bag in place. I was just in time because emergency hit almost immediately. It worked really well actually, but it was mortifying. I'm so embarrassed. I got home and cleaned everything. The worst part, though, was shortly after my boyfriend got in the car, he asked why it smelled so much like cleaning supplies. I played it off, but there was so much secret shame. Now, I just have to live the rest of my life knowing that happened. Hey, OP, I thought your boyfriend was going to say the car smelled like poo? So the fact that it smells like cleaning supplies means you've gotten away with the perfect crime. No harm, no foul. That was rSlash, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit episodes every single day.